Fine.
Hi, everybody. It's been a while. We're finally back. We haven't done anything since the Sean Lewis Jonathan Mark Spadavecchia interview for Bear Pirate Viking Queen, which I have the page of art adorned behind me, currently hanging up.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous.
I got my favorite page, so that's always nice to do. I had this long intro that I wanted to do that was going to be a take on Friday the 13th Part 2, where they're at the campfire with I don't want to scare anyone. But I was going to be like, Tessa's out there hunting comics.
That's me!
And there was no way that I could do it without getting a copyright strike because I wanted the music playing. And like as of this morning, I was still like wrestling how to do it. And I was gonna do it like it's this little intro, but like have a little like fake campfire.
All right, cute. You're thinking in depth. I like it.
I had a lot of time on my hands walking to and fro work. So we'll get into a little bit of stuff. I wanted to touch a little base of stuff. One of my favorite comic book artists passed away this week, John Cassaday. Planetary is one of my like favorite comic books of the last 30 years.
I was thinking of you when I heard the news.
If I could go door to door and be like a Church of Latter-day Saints people, that would be the good book I'd be handing out. He drew one of my favorite Kitty Prydes ever in Astonishing X-Men, even though Joss Whedon's a piece of shit as a person. John Cassaday's work was incredible, and his work with Rick Remender on that Avengers X-Men crossover was like Uncanny Avengers or something like that a while back. 52 years old. That's rough.
Baby, yeah.
It was nice to see all the pros come out and talk about like how wonderful a person, how like he's an artist people didn't talk about enough.
I've never heard anyone say a bad word about him. Only just he's an amazing person. He's a sweetheart. Like that's it.
Worst person thing I ever heard was the man takes a long time to draw because he does like hyper detail and everything. If that's the worst thing people can say about you, then that's not bad.
Yeah.
And now to a little bit more serious, depressing. Our friend Jen is in a lot of health trouble again. It's taken a turn. If you can contribute to her GoFundMe, I put the link in here. Everybody's making videos today. To say the least, Jen means a ton for me. Every show I've asked her to come on just because I know she'll say no, but always a little chance maybe she'll come on. She's one of the most wonderful people I know. When I was in a bad way, she was always available 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning for dumb fucking messages from me. And I just wanted to kind of ask people that if you can, please donate and help any way you can. Spread the word. Anything. Without saying much, things aren't great. And I'll leave it at that. I kind of wanted to get the depressing stuff out of the way early. Plus, usually the beginning of the videos is when we have the most people watching, so we tend to go long. But please do so if you can. I will drop the link in the description of the video afterward, or you can just go to GoFundMe, keep Jen reading. It's pretty easy to find. If you go on Instagram, you can throw something at anything and you'll see someone's video talking about it. I'm really bad with this emotional stuff like this because it's hard for me to do it without crying. So I really don't want to ugly cry at the front of a horror episode. So anyway, this is me asking everyone to try and help.
Jennifer is like, it's just that she's the best of us. Yeah.
So how have you been? It's been a while.
Well, I got to hang out with Jennifer, so
you have one-up me in life.
Yeah, it was I didn't want to put too much pressure on her before going there because I didn't want to be like, hey, like, you know, make sure you're okay because I'm traveling all this way or whatever. But so I was making it like kind of a surprise. But we got to spend all of Saturday together. It was pretty great.
Nice. Don't make me show up at your front door. Do it.
But yeah, it was really fun. We kind of went to the show just to hang out with her. So like I saw Zach Kaplan and David Mack was waiting for her, and they were sweet and adorable as always. But then that was it. That was the Rose City trip. It was Jennifer.
That's nice. I mean, you did get to do all that DC all-in stuff at your convention or two before this, where you got to go here every.
That was like 6 conventions ago. We go every other week. I have one this next weekend that's Baltimore. It's constant.
But at least you had some insight of like people getting passionate about this all-in thing where I'm like, I feel like we've done this before and it didn't quite work out last time as well as they wanted.
Sometimes you just like hear a creator talk about the thing they're like creating, and you can tell they're like actually excited about it. Like, this is my baby, I'm so passionate. And like, if you've noticed, like Scott Snyder has definitely given the book to all of his friends to read, which makes it seem like the thing. I'm so excited. So like,
and Joshua Williamson, like I've heard him talk about everything, and like on Twitter back in the day, like he got me hooked on Ghosted Nailbiter just by how passionately he was pushing that book. Like, and yeah, Nick Dragotta, like if you haven't read East of West, like he's awesome.
Joshua Williamson, also a sweetheart. Joshua Williamson, also a sweetheart. I love that. I love he's just a nerd, man.
He very much is.
Yeah.
And also somehow like the Energon universe works with all these books he's writing.
Yeah. He's the
not
perfect
joking
kind of thing, because like whenever he's doing DC stuff, I always think he's so good at having his finger on the pulse of everything going on within that universe. So like he's perfect at that kind of stuff. Just I feel like he can keep every wire straight. Like he just knows what's happening. It's wild to me.
His Flash run probably is the second most important Flash run.
My blazing hot take is that my favorite like recent Flash run is the one that was like only like 6 issues or something in between him and Jeremy Adams. I really liked that like little in between guy. I thought it was so good.
I'm like hit and miss with Jeremy Adams. There's some stuff I really like, and then others where I'm like,
this was the guy before him. He just does like a bunch of like TV work. Like, yeah, he was only there for like a few issues. The Jeremy Adams run was fine. It was
yeah. Josh had one of the like huge long runs there. I was like, all right, since Jeff Johns, this is probably the second most important, but I would put it with Wade's like pretty quick.
I need to read the Jeff Johns run, and to be fair, when I tried reading it, I was like very new into comics, but I just couldn't get into the art.
Oh yeah, Scott Collins can be a little rough at times.
Also like modern colored, like for a new collection, and so it was like very much just something that I don't jive with because I don't like that kind of stuff. And so
it's very
like,
muddy.
It was just like,
I remember the colors were super muddy.
Yeah.
Like super muddy.
Gross.
So we decided to kick off spooky season. What better way? Friday the 13th. I'm wearing my Clash London Calling, but Jason Calling shirt.
I have bloody weapons.
Yes. My new store manager, I was watching your Instagram little...
You follow me on Instagram?
Your story. And she was like over my shoulder and she goes, she's very cute. I was like, thank you. And she's like, I don't know what to say. And she's like, are those knives? I was like, yes. And she goes, oh, yep, you guys must be friends, and just walked off. And I was like,
I mean, there's like, these are pliers, and there's like a cleaver. Yeah, it's a bunch of bloody like implements.
Oh, good. It's a nice Susan of different weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, tools.
It's perfect for today, you know? Happy Friday 13th. Thank you for surviving this holiday with me. Yeah.
Survive. You might be tied up some time later, you know. Just one body part at a time. So our big thing today, we are picking our favorite horror comics that you might not know about, or maybe we feel they're a little under the radar and you should check out. Like, so we're not hitting like, oh, Walking Dead, Tomb of Dracula, Werewolf by Night. We're not doing that.
Everything you said was so classic. Oh my goodness.
And there's a couple of others. I did pick like a few moderns. I tried to do a mix of like moderns, classics.
Yeah, you did better on the classic front than I did for sure.
So it actually, well, when we get to it, we'll get to it. Did you want to go first?
Sure. That makes me think that I really don't want to pick something that you picked. Like that's kind of like the goal I
I
have in mind.
really don't think we're gonna pick the same stuff.
This was the only one that I was like, maybe if you had the same mindset as me, and you'll see why. So I did want to pick one that was like an ongoing series in case anyone saw this and they were like, I want to try reading something that's happening right now. Granted, not for much longer, but we both love Philip Kennedy Johnson. So I was like, if there's anything we match on, I think it will be Crocodile Black. And it also kind of ties into the intro of Lost. But the art in this is absolutely stunning. This is my first time delving into both the like artist and the colors in this book. It is
I've never heard of that artist before, and it was kind of surprising because usually art like that would be on my radar.
mm-hmm.
Like, although Trad Moore was someone who wasn't on my radar, and then that Silver Surfer book came out, I was like, holy shit, this is fantastic.
Now this book is gorgeous. I believe it's 3 or 4 issues in right now.
Yes.
It is Boom Studios, so you can still get this at your LCS. I still have copies of the first issue around. They also have like really cool FOC variants where they're like virgin variants. Love those. But the art on this is gorgeous. It only gets better from the first one. That's why I was like very specifically only wanting to bring the first one up because I feel like every other one, if I open it, it's full of spoilers. But it just gets more epic and more crazy.
Very
It is,
psychological,
yes.
unhinged behavior, thought patterns,
It's like a serial killer, but it's actually dealing a lot more with like mental trauma.
trauma.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's getting you into the mindset kind of this kid. He's like a teenager. And he's just like he's going through his little brother, I believe it was, died.
His
His
family hates him.
dad blames him, thinks he did it. And so he's on medication, and when he's not on his medication, things get pretty wonky. But the art is amazing. The story is it's wild to read the story from the man who made me fall in love with Superman. So like Blue Boy Scout, and then you go into this, wild. Highly recommend. It's literally one of my favorite ongoings right now.
And by the way, like for people who like horror, gothic horror, don't sleep on Incredible Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson
True.
because it gets wilder and wilder, and the body horror in it is like next level lately, especially the throwback to like Mesopotamia times.
Yeah, the only
I
sorry.
oh, go ahead.
The only like other like modern Marvel book that I felt was like scary was like this random one shot Fantastic Four road trip. And that one was like body horror. Like I can't believe they did that.
Which it was weird because it just came out of nowhere. They're like, "Here you go."
And it's just one issue. It's just a thick one shot, but it's just one comic. So if you ever want to try it and you say you're not into Fantastic Four, give it a shot. It's literally one issue. But it's very intense body horror.
Yeah, I'm not a Fantastic Four fan. Like, I'm just not.
Nobody is.
But this run by Ryan North has been great.
Yes. It's one of
It's
my
just
only
a
Marvel
great
books I've read.
mixture, sci-fi and humor, where Hickman just went full like hardcore sci-fi. This is like Hickman, but with like the comedy stylings of like Patton Oswalt at times.
I have loved Ryan North previously, so I was excited for this run to start. But like, it's one of my favorite Marvel books. It's like that and Hulk, and like now I'm delving into like the Ultimate Universe and stuff. But like as far as main universe, like those two are the best books on the shelf.
And it's funny because like he has the voice of the characters, and I think that's a huge thing because when Scott Snyder wrote Superman, he couldn't write Superman. He just didn't have the voice. Where Philip Kennedy Johnson, full on, has
Perfect.
Superman's voice, and Lois in particular, he just knows how to write.
He is the Superman writer for me. Full stop.
He's one of my favorites people, and if you want to go back and hear us talk about Superman and everything under the sun, it's in our playlist for creator interviews. So this is going to be kind of an oh wow, Dan's talking about this title. Blackula
Yes, I was hoping you would do that.
by my friend Rodney Barnes, and he had
My
talked
friend
about.
Rodney Barnes.
Well, you got to meet him in person. I haven't.
I didn't know who he was. I went up to him and I was like, "Hi, we've never met before. Can I take a picture with you for Dan?" And he was like, "For Dan, absolutely."
He's one of my favorite horror writers of the past, like, I don't know, 6 years, 5 years. When Philadelphia popped out, he definitely got on my radar. And then I found out he used to write for the Boondocks, the Wayans brothers, and everything under the sun. So he had, on one of our interviews, go, "I'm getting the rights to Blackula." And it was like, yeah, sure you are. Like, why would you want to do that? And then he came on when John's Comics with Kids was on. He's like, "Nope, I got the rights. We're doing it as an OGN, and Jason Sean Alexander's doing the entire book, digital painting it, and we're going to take this blaxploitation character who's a joke and show what a sad character he is, and this tragedy of his past and his history, where he was an African prince who was trying to get help, and he went to Transylvania to meet with Count Dracula, and Count Dracula killed his bride, turned her into a vampire, and then killed him and buried him alive. Well, not buried alive, but buried him, and then he doesn't pop out again until the 70s, where he ends up killing people, and it's basically his journey to get revenge against Dracula. But
I fully ordered this book for the store just because of you.
Jason Sean Alexander is just...
Go full screen. What are you doing? Show the people.
Yeah. He's like Ashley Wood and Sienkiewicz if they had a bastard son. And
Ooh,
yeah.
I love that splash page.
Rodney is one of those people. He knows how to intertwine what's going on in the world and even like splash of politics, but without ever knowing what he actually thinks. And he takes pride in that.
That's smart. I like that.
But you can only get it as a graphic novel. They just put it out as a hardcover recently, but it's worth checking out if you want to see great art, read a vampire tale that has tragedy to it, done out of a character that basically was a 1970s joke, and even that music, like, sorry,
that was perfect.
That impersonation of it. But Rodney was so passionate about this project, talking about it, and you can see the love on every page of it between him and the artist have this great synergy where they just know what each other wants to do or can feel it out. And it's totally worth checking out. I think it was $19.99. And you can order it at your local comic shop or anywhere else. Rodney might even have a store that you can get it signed from him. But totally a book that maybe got slept on because it came out as an OGN.
I find that happens a lot, sadly. And that's like a lot of amazing books.
Oh, Monster by... oh, my God.
Barry Windsor. Yeah.
Barry Windsor Smith, yes. That giant book. Mm-hmm. Very much so. That book is massive.
It's a weapon.
It's a tome.
One that I wanted to bring but forgot to grab from the store to show off. Dracula Motherfucker. It's blurred out on the... I don't have it on me. I was just saying another book.
I was hitting it as you were saying I don't have it on me.
Yeah. No, Dracula Motherfucker is another one of those like OGNs. Like the U and the C are censored, but it's from Image. It's a one shot.
It was a COVID book.
Art. Yeah. No, it was before then.
No, I think it came out during COVID because I remember like Jen and I did it during our COVID shows because it came out, and
weird.
I remember it's basically Dracula's bride's revenge.
And the art though is like the art is the full buy for me. It's so cool. Like it's very stylistic and colorful, and it's juicy.
I do remember the colors popped in that book, like very much so.
Plus, I love hardcovers. But the next pick, gotta shout the homie Ben Templesmith, love of my life, sweet little man, sweet little baby boy Benjamin Templesmith. So this is Wormwood, which is like his creator-owned title, and it's kind of like it is. If you like Ben Templesmith, you will like it. If you don't, like, you got to be down for like this kind of stuff, like this art style. Unfortunately, IDW makes absolutely garbage hardcovers, so this book is falling apart. I read it once, and can I show you this? Yeah, it's like.
So my original Lock and Key hardcovers,
they're the whole spine
falling apart.
Yeah, it's gross.
They did get better, but not much better.
But Wormwood hasn't had a new hardcover printing to my knowledge for a bit. But I love this. This is my favorite thing of Ben Templesmith's. It's got very big Ben Templesmith art and energy, which I'm a fan of, but Fell was one of my first books ever. It's very creepy and
Warren
weird.
Ellis.
I'm sorry?
With Warren Ellis.
Yeah, I have that little hardcover here. And I have Ben, I've had Ben sign this for me twice as a joke. Ben. Yeah, this book is very much like kind of like gross undead demon creature going and hunting other bad demon creatures and saving the world and all just that shenanigans. But you get to see Ben Templesmith doing creature design, which is like what he's best at. You get to see a lot of really gross stuff, and you get to see a lot of really lewd jokes because he is everything. He is the writer, he is the artist. So very fun for my Ben Templesmith joy.
So my next book is not a horror book. It is a book title that came out right during COVID. It came out the same week as Mercy by Mirka Andolfo, and Jen and I declared it as the worst week in comics that we ever had.
Actually, it was beyond real because it's so scary. It's so bad, it's scary.
It was terrible. This title I started to hate reading for the first arc because I was like, all right, like this has to get good. I hate every character in this. And then it happened. That Texas Blood.
That was bad? I thought it was always
the first arc sucked. But the second arc had a cult leader who is very Charles Manson-y, but it had satanic undertones. It had a detective helping them. And I love this second arc. It was great. It had a lot of Fincher to it with the types of satanic panic, the chasing down of like trying to find this missing girl. But this is the one that sealed it for me, volume 3.
Cool cover.
There is a blizzard going on, and this character right here is called the Red Queen Killer, and he comes into town randomly killing people during a blizzard that's shutting down the town, and he wears that Cheshire cat mask. And it's communication, roads are shut down trying to stop a serial killer in the town. And it has some of the most intense scenes of a book. It's written masterfully. The art by Jacob Phillips just fits so well. And this is one of the titles where like I hated the book starting, and I ended up loving it by the end. Also, there's a prequel title, The Enfield Massacre, about the gang in the western town before it became that Texas Blood. But this one in particular is the gem to pick up. But volume 2 is really good because it kind of leads up to the weird shit that happens in this book.
Very specific note, the Enfield Massacre, the paper on that is delicious. It is gorgeous. It is perfect.
Yes. It's also expensive, if I recall the book itself.
Thick,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Bearded Comic Bro, shouting out Beyond Real, best comic. So I wanted to shout out a book that is a super local book for me. So I have the first one and the sequel here. Worms Crawl In is the first one, and then Worms Crawl Out is the sequel. So this is by someone super local to me. The art is, I want to do the sequel one because I feel like it gets even better for the sequel. Oh no, I'm totally wrong. Worms Crawl Out was the first one. Worms Crawl In was the second one. I don't remember anything. But the art is super sick on this. It is all black and white. He does everything himself. He prints it locally. But you can buy it online on his website. I carried it all of my clouds because I like to try and carry local people. It is some really troubled teen can see this spirit who is in agony. And so basically it's your stereotypical, like, we're going to go hunt down the bad guy together. But it's a very interesting, like, found family dynamic of this rotting corpse that only she can really see and herself ragtagging along to go and, like, save the entire planet. But it is wild. It is a crazy ride. And I am so happy that this dude just happens to live near me. But Dan Schmidt, he's also a sweetheart of a man. But this book is messed up and horrible. In the second one, you're going through the different circles of like hell and seeing all the demons in there. But it's gorgeous and it's really sweet and it makes me really love the two of them. And I am kind of a sucker for found family stuff. So worms crawl out, worms crawl in. Just get them together, make them kiss. Mwah.
So my next title is one that some people have seen commercials for lately.
Oh, Bearded Comic Rope. Beyond Real is fantastic. I'm sorry, I just saw that now. Yeah, Deep Beyond is the bad one. Beyond Real is amazing. Zach Kaplan is cool.
So the animated show for this is coming out, I believe, September 23rd. And Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Manga horror. It's great.
I wanted to talk about a manga too, but I didn't have the physical copy on me. Someone's borrowing it.
So Junji Ito draws horror better than most. And there are scenes with these spirals. Like one of them is in this woman's head. But here's just a little sample.
Just a little sample. Just something cute, you know.
Little Susan. Little butterfly. You know, nothing Bob Ross would paint. And some more body horror. This is the hardcover that has 3 volumes in it. I figured it was good to bring this as a primer for people who are going to watch that animated series. It looks beautiful from what I saw, and it'll be on Max coming the 23rd. So if you have the Max app streaming, you'll be able to watch it. For some reason, it did say it was Cartoon Network or Adult Swim, which is weird. But even though I thought that went under. But Junji Ito is one of the best manga horror creators that you will see. Lots of good stuff. Tomei is another one that I really like. Huh?
I like Yo a lot.
That one's good too.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend checking out his stuff. And there is an Uzumaki live action movie out there that came out that's very hard to find. Not great because you can't do those effects effectively, you know, like someone's eye being a big spiral.
Mm-hmm.
But this volume was $35 for the hardcover. Again, you can order it at your local comic shop or other good places online.
This is a recommendation for you specifically. I don't pause the show. This is just me talking to Dan. There's a horror manga that I am obsessed with. There's only 3 volumes out so far, but it was up for an Eisner Award this last year. It's so good. It's The Summer Hikaru Died. The art is phenomenal. It's I really like Parasite. That's another like horror manga I like.
Yeah.
Summer Hikaru Died is the only exception I make because like I only let myself buy like manga used, so it's like cheap. Summer Hikaru Died is the only exception I'll make where it's like, no, I just need it. I need to read it now. I'm not waiting to dig for full copies. So it's so good. The art is amazing. The story is amazing. Ryan is borrowing mine right now. Otherwise, that would have been one of my picks for tonight. But it is so good. I will send them to you. They're so good, Dan. It's so good.
So it's 3 volumes, you said?
So far, yeah, it's ongoing.
Okay.
Like it's a very new, yeah. Just started like last year before, maybe.
Well, I think it's Books A Million or Barnes & Noble has their buy one get one free for manga, so like I might take advantage of that.
Do it. But so at my store we offer what is called a punch in the face guarantee. That just means that I believe in this book so much that if you don't like it, you can punch me in the face, and by that I mean I'll just buy you a different book, or you can punch me in the face if you want. That's how much I believe in it. I love this book. I just want to read it again. I love it so much.
Taking a note. No, to purchase it.
Oh, I thought you were like...
Not to punch you in the face.
Yeah. I was like, okay, we're just going for it. All right.
Summer Hikaru Died?
Yeah. Hikaru, I believe. But it'll pop up because it's like, again, so good that while there was only 2 volumes out, it was up for an Eisner Award.
Which is weird because the Eisners kind of ignore that.
It's so good.
Genre.
It's so good. I mean, it was for like the little manga section, I believe. I could be wrong, but it is. I'm scared now I'm hyping it up, but it's my favorite. So like my favorite manga is like, I like Parasite, but like Parasite, while it does have like scary moments, it also has kind of like a campiness, but I like that. Like I love movies like The Gremlins. Like I'm here for both at the same time.
So there is another horror manga now that we're like going down this weird subsect.
You do a horror manga show.
It's called Another.
Okay.
And there is the animated show that's actually better than the book that's on Hulu right now. And it's about this classroom where the people who sit in the seat in this classroom end up dying or disappearing. It's like a cursed classroom, and this girl who has a bandage over her eye like is a phantasm that keeps showing up in that seat, and only the one kid can keep seeing her.
Okay.
It's like a supernatural mystery to find out what happened, why this is happening.
Hmm.
But I found the Hulu animated anime better than what I read. It's very weird. It just puts it together better flow wise.
I'm not as good at like watching things as I am reading things.
The first volume is the size of the Uzumaki 3 volume.
That's easier for me to get through than an episode of a TV show.
Like
It's got to be like TV has to be on in the background while I'm doing something, so I can't really like watch it. And if I start watching it, like I'm just asleep, man.
Blue
Uh,
Beetle.
I was awake for like almost all of it. Okay.
I cheers, Jim. It's one of my plumbing coworkers.
Oh, hi.
um, what was your next pick?
My next pick is Fruiting Bodies. Look at this beautiful like spot foiling. Silver Sprocket makes the highest quality, and I'm not talking about the stories inside. So this is not like a bias thing, just physically the books that they make are the highest quality of anything else on the market. This has like a thick matte cover and it is gorgeous. And it continues on to the back too. It still goes around. The pages are gorgeous. So the art in this, let me make sure I get something that's not a spoiler or too lewd. Well, they're going camping, so like they're changing.
Yeah.
So this is a group of friends, and they're going on a little camping adventure, and it is called Fruiting Bodies, and it's as far as like a horror genre, it's definitely going to be more in like your body horror kind of era. Everyone kind of starts returning to the earth, if you will, and it becomes kind of a horror situation of trying to not get swallowed by the world. But it's very cool, and it's definitely not something I expected to be this cool, and I'm really glad I took a shot. I order everything Silver Sprocket because again, everything they make, like they put a lot of love into, and I'm a sucker for really indie stuff. So this is more like a zine than it is like an actual like graphic novel. It's kind of between the two, but it's gorgeous. This is Ashley Robin Franklin. They've been putting out a lot of cool stuff recently. I highly recommend checking them out. The stuff in here is very much like a soft, slow, creepy horror, and I'm really into that. It's very cool.
Huh. I don't think I've bought a Silver Sprocket book.
Pee Pee Poo Poo Comics won the Eisner this year.
Huh.
That was the best book of the year or whatever. That was the Eisner winner.
I guess I should say, like, when I go through previews, there's some like publishers I just like.
Silver Pocket puts out some cool stuff. I can send you some recs later. My brain is like merging them with different publishers right now, but I definitely have a few good ones in my mind.
It's funny because I did find I have a book that I've been handing out more than ever lately, from Vault Heathen, because it's just such a mixture of a little bit of everything. So I've been like letting people borrow and giving that out to people a lot lately.
It's exactly behind my chair. Heathen, papa.
I love that book.
Yeah. Don't worry, I couldn't find Autumnal though, but I can find Heathen. Grumble, grumble.
And then By the Horns was another one that I
really?
did like. Not from Vault, but it's
Scout.
It's Scout. I really liked.
I kind of just like stopped ordering things from Scout when they stopped paying their creators. I don't know what I'm doing with that now.
It's weird because I actually axed some stuff that was on my list because Aftershock put it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard because they had some books that I really liked.
Perfect. Maniac New York is perfect for a Friday 13th show, but I didn't do the same thing. I don't know how well Scout or Aftershock are doing on either of their ends on that right now, but just pay your creators, man. That's it. That's literally it.
Also like, so they're not putting out any new comics, but they're shilling the shit out of their trades on previews I saw.
But they haven't been actually coming out. They're just re-up every single month. Like Maniac New York hardcover has been on previews for like a year. Like every single like month I go through my orders and I'm able to order it, and it just keeps getting pushed back.
Interesting.
which sometimes happens because sometimes they're like, oh, like we're gonna give it a second chance, see if it gets more eyes or something like that. But it's very weird to be for this long. I've never seen that with anything other than Aftershock.
That's so weird. Especially, I mean, they had a lot of they were like the indie to be on for a while.
I was a really big fan. They were definitely my favorite for a while, but now it's, no thank you.
So I'm going to do a little preamble to my next pick.
Hell yeah.
So for those who aren't aware, there's a little thing going on called the Comics Code Authority. I know, weird. So you weren't allowed to do the undead, vampire stuff, anything like that. So Marvel was trying to figure out ways to skate around it. They did the same thing with Savage Sword of Conan and a couple of other titles. And one of them, they turned into an anthology magazine. And let me go to full screen.
Fuck yeah.
Tales of the Zombie with beautiful Boris Vallejo cover. And everything inside was, black and white. Steve Gerber's story. Buscema art.
Gorgeous.
And there's about 7 different stories in every issue. And there's at least one prose. They only did 10 issues of this. And it's funny with doing zombies in the 70s because, of course, they have the Damballa. This is right when Brother Voodoo was coming out, too. The art, they have... what was the second artist that took over? Pablo Marcos, who was doing it. I thought his art style actually worked better than Buscema's for this type of book. He had a heavier pencil line to it, and the inker seemed to know a little bit more what to do with his line work. But
do you have favorite stories from this? Do you have any favorite stories from this? Any of them that like really poke out at you?
So it was one long running serial. So it wasn't even stories, but there was one where this guy takes possession of the Damballa amulet and tries to get him to kill the zombie's daughter when he was alive. And it's cheesy, but the power of love for his daughter made him break the spell. But this was
Woof.
Pablo Marcos.
Yeah, okay.
There's an artist probably no one's heard about, but damn, this is a hell of a page.
Yeah, that's sick as hell.
And it's one of those ones, and I love 70s Marvel horror because they were like putting effort because they knew there was a market for it. They just didn't know how to get it out onto the market. And then in 2006, weirdly on the Max line, they brought this character back, Simon Garth the Zombie, with Kyle Hotz.
I didn't know that was the same one.
And they did another series after that, but in this, he's a bank teller who ends up getting taken through a zombie infestation and becomes a zombie, but he keeps his brain. The second series of it had Eric Powell with Kyle Hotz, and that was like Height of Goon. But it was strange for them to bring it back so far, like 30 years after.
Yeah, and like with just calling it Zombie and not Tales of Zombie, like I did not know they were connected because I thought it was
So the 2007 version with Eric Powell. JoJo, you have no idea how close I was to inviting you to be on this because I knew if anybody knew horror comics, it was you, JoJo.
That's so savage to say. They're like, just we thought about inviting you, but
she's very busy. She does football games and baseball, and it's like prime season.
I didn't know that. I creep on her Instagram.
She's awesome. I had her on to talk about Terrifier, and
Terrifier.
I did a lot of Halloween impersonations of Loomis going, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. I shot him 6 times. 6 times. It's not my best work, but throat's hurting.
Considering I've never seen it, it could have been dead on. So.
Well, you never seen Halloween? Come on.
Well, yeah, Halloween, but
yeah, Loomis. But Terrifier, I think you would love and hate, and then go back and watch it again just because you're like, I don't know what the fuck I just watched.
Yeah, isn't it just like gratuitous gore, but like nothing else really of substance? That's kind of what
First one, the second one brought in a nemesis who's also a cosplayer, weirdly.
Listening, okay.
You would probably have a little bit of a crush on her.
Probably. Speaking of people I have a little bit of a crush on.
Oh. By the way, Jojo, I loved your picture with the
Jason mask.
Jason mask. I was like going through. I was like, stop, hold on, let me go back. But when Terrifier 3 comes out, you will have to come on with Carlito and I, because we're gonna have to talk about that with you, because it's a killer clown during Christmas.
Oh, I love horror Christmas movies, though.
Oh, well, right on.
Yeah, I don't like Christmas, so I like when there's just a lot of murder happening during it.
He's got the kids during the mall sitting in his lap while he's got a bloody axe.
Okay.
It just killer clown sometimes I'm hit and miss on.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to binge it so I can watch you guys.
They're all on Tubi.
The third one isn't out yet, right?
No, not yet. That comes out in the theaters October 17th.
Okay. All right.
Yay, JoJo's in. Woo! What's your next title?
So I did change it right now while I was sitting here, because you were saying you hadn't really gotten anything from Silver Sprocket, so I wanted to grab a different Silver Sprocket book. This is by Benji Nate, who has done great books like Catboy, which is a very adorable book. But this one is kind of how it seems in the title. This is one that is like not a really scary one, but it's more of like a fun Halloween-y kind of read. It's got a very cutesy art style, because that's just kind of like the art style Benji Nate has, which I think is always like refreshing and fun coming to something silly and stupid like this. But it's kind of like a phone from hell, and there's a ton of stupid antics that go along with it. It is a flip phone, which definitely adds to it. But this is just a whole vibe. I definitely want to talk about some that were like less scary for people who like the horror-y vibes, like the people who like Hocus Pocus, but they're too scared to watch Terrifier kind of thing. Like this, or like I love Taproot. That's like a technically spooky vibe ABC Family kind of movie. It's about a gardener and a ghost is the tagline, and it's more of like a romancy thing, and like I love that. Had too many.
Mr. Boogedy. Mr. Boogedy's horror, and all right. Listen, I didn't completely trash it. I actually stayed with it. 1, 2.
Get me out of here.
Greg just did a interview with Philip Kennedy Johnson, so you might want to go to his channel and check that out, because he's an okay guy.
Dude, he was so excited to meet my parents when they went to Terrificon. It was so cute. He was like, "You better bring it by tomorrow." I was like, "Yes, sir."
Wow,
he's so sweet. I love him.
Yeah, it was weird that he still came on during a complete blackout. So he was on the show, but we didn't actually see him.
I forgot about that part. Wow, yeah.
Okay. All right, so my next one is a book by a creator I like who started writing in the past 5 years, normally an artist. And I did not know how well I was going to like the book, but I love the cover, which, cover can sell you a book without ever reading it. And I didn't know how this creator was going to handle doing kind of a horror book, but then I realized it wasn't a complete horror book. And that is The Me You Love in the Dark.
I almost brought that one. I'm so glad I didn't.
So it is a book that it is a ghost in a house. A girl is there looking for silence to paint and be creative. Well, here's one of the beautiful pages. Unfortunately, my light's like right in it. Let me find a picture of the house.
I want to be her. This is like a romance horror, and it's perfect. Oof, oof.
And I would say this is like kind of almost a book about an abusive relationship. So there's all these analogies going on dealing with this ghost that's in love with this girl who's not in love with the ghost. And there's some cover slash, and she kind of always has this Corona when what was Middle West came out. I wasn't in love with his art, and it's grown on me quite a bit because him and
This
Scotty are
specifically
kind
is
of.
my favorite though. Like I like this better than Ain't No Grave. Do you notice that they're kind of like just fiddling in different genres right now?
Yes. It's kind of like Sean Lewis, where he was like, you know what? I hate Westerns. I'm going to do Westerns. I hate bears. I'm going to. Also, I love that him and Jonathan Marks Baravecchia announced that they're doing another project together.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Yes.
They live so close, they better.
Honestly, they were two of the nicest people. Like, even after, like, when I ordered the page, he's like, hey, I'm going to make sure this gets to you tomorrow. Like, thanks for your support. And I don't know. I dig that. They're just so nice.
At one point he messaged me and he was like, hey, like, I know you were talking about wanting like that shark piece. Like, do you like, you know, I can have that set aside at the gallery so no one else can get it. Like, if you want dibs on it, I definitely can make sure that can happen. And it was I got in a car accident that day and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how much this is gonna cost me. Like, I just got in a car accident. He was like, shit, I'm sorry, you're good.
So they have the boat storm page on his site still.
So I was drooling over a bunch of them.
Yeah. I absolutely love this book, and I know it did well, but I also feel like it got slept on because it's Scotty Young doing horror. I don't know. It is horror, but it's not.
It's also like 3 issues, right? So like it's not like people knew about it for long while it was coming out. I feel like that definitely helped like it kind of go under the radar.
I feel like it came out and no one talked about it anymore. I kind of feel like that with a lot of books where like there's all this hype when it comes out and then just nobody cares anymore.
That's the downside of a periodical media. Like there's new stuff every single week, so we're focusing on the stuff now, not the stuff that's already out.
But this book has a lot of heart to it. Middle West had a ton of heart to it. Like that last issue, like was just tearing me apart. If you have daddy issues, don't read that book. It's just bad.
No, then you should. You read it and you cry.
But this is one definitely I feel you should check out. Like I said, it's horror, it's supernatural, occult, abusive relationship analogies, trying to leave a literally possessive relationship. And the character is kind of lovable because of how vulnerable she is.
So I think I took it in a little bit of a different way than you did because you were saying that she does not love the monster, and I don't know if I would characterize it as love, but I definitely could feel like she was falling for the monster.
I believe it became her muse.
Yeah, definitely, but I think that there's something innately romantic about that.
A little bit where it wasn't love, but it was fascination. Maybe
Yeah, I feel like maybe there was some falling. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there was an infatuation there for a while, and then unfortunately, it turned before she fell all the way, kind of thing.
You know, it just suddenly became Titanic, and she's like, "I need you to pose naked on that couch, and I'm going to do a pencil drawing of you. I'm going to do it in the style of Jack Kirby." So,
just really blocking.
I'm gonna give you some Liefeld feet. Or lack of. What's your next one?
That was 5?
Yeah. Oh shit.
I mean, I had more right here. I could happily grab.
Yeah. Let's go.
I read this today. I read Specs. I'm a big fan of Chris Sheehan. This is a big. So I realized today that obviously I know like what the monkey's paw situation is, but I've never actually read the monkey's paw, like whatever the original thing is. So I put that down on my to-do list, like right before the show to do. The art in this is stunning. This is the writer is David Bower, I believe is how you pronounce the name, but he's doing a lot of like the Kanto stuff, which I haven't read. Booher.
Yeah. He was on Will's show way back in the day, like Jen and him interviewed.
Nice dude, but like, yeah, the art stunning. I love Chris Sheehan. 2 best friends in the 80s. One, and it's in like I don't know, Middle West America, Middle West. And one of them is a black kid, and then one of them is an in the closet gay kid. So one is experiencing the discrimination. One of them is hiding from it right now. But they get glasses from a comic book ad that say like, "Ooh, these will grant all your wishes," and it comes to them and it starts doing some stuff. All right, man. But it's only like 4 issues. It's a very quick read. I feel like Boom horror miniseries are a fun time. Like they're quick, they're good. Like it's watching just like a good popcorn flick.
I think I read the first issue.
Me too.
And then
I read the next.
No, I never got the next because I never saw it again.
Oh.
Because, comic shop.
Your favorite.
I'm gonna leave it at that. So my next one is kind of a prequel, but also like a weird reset. I guess it's a requel. And so this artist I liked from their work on Joe Hill's Reign. I love that book. And then It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth. And it is Hack Slash Back to School by Zoe Thorogood. And you always got to love a creator that's going to cosplay as the character.
I didn't see that. That's so cute.
She is adorable. Her art is great, and it resets a little bit of the history of Cassie Hack.
Necessary.
They're working on this as a show now, according to Tim Seeley. But she is in a finishing school for monster killers, and it shows how she meets Vlad. And it was kind of just a fun book to read. And Zoe Thorogood is a creator that I've started to really follow and love because Reign was one of the most depressing, beautiful books I have read.
Love that book.
So good. And I was like, this can't be Joe Hill, really. Like, he might have done an outline for it, but this can't be him because it's too good.
Yeah. Co-writer,
But definitely she is a creator you want to follow. And I think Hack Slash is in a good place right now to pick up. And Tim Seeley also has another book that I was going to bring to this called Revival.
Hell yeah.
By him and
behind my chair.
Not Ed Norton. Mike Norton.
It's got some gorgeous Jenny Frison covers.
Yes. And it's about a town where people come back from the dead and they can't die.
Wait, going back though, do you think that book is a good like baby's first hack slash?
This?
Yeah.
I think it's a good primer. The omnibuses for hack slash are out there and they're fairly
They just went on sale for stores. Yeah. So I just recycled them.
But I think this was a good book. And again, it's a creator I think you should check out. She has a very, very great future ahead of her if she keeps up this kind of work. And it's funny because she's very nuanced on what she's picking to do. It's somewhere between horror and emotional. She's on that spectrum of like, this is what I want to do, because every book has been very much in that spectrum. But there's another picture in here that I find even more adorable than the other one. And it was, oh, damn it. I just saw it. It's her and Tim Seeley at a convention together.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I love like chintzy stuff like that, where it's just like, that's cute. Like, especially for like a guy who he handpicked to take over the title, to be that in love with the character, that they were going to do that and dress up at a con at the table as the character.
Yeah. That's so cute.
Did you have another one?
I don't know where. I have like 6 copies of it. I don't know where they. Oh wait, I see it now. Well, anyway, I have it on the other side of my room. Autumnal, I told you I would talk about because it's like my favorites. I have to. I can't go to a horror show and not talk about it. If you like Hereditary, this book is perfect for you. Chris Sheehan does the art for it. The colors are just so like cozy and fall. It makes you just want to like slip right into the book. Huge trigger warnings if you're not okay with stuff happening to kids. if you're not okay with your man parts being ripped apart. It is a great book, though. I like a book that comes with trigger warnings. It is messed up and it is creepy. It's got little like witches vibes almost too. It is a delightful read. Highly recommend. It is probably my favorite. I feel like it's one of those ones that has a lot of like rereadability because there's so many like clues about what's happening that you don't know while you're reading, and then if you go back, you get to catch them, and it just feels like slipping into your favorite sweater all over again. I love that book.
I came close to picking All Eight Eyes, but it was too recent, and I really enjoyed it. So I did pick one. This is again something that's coming out on the horizon, but I feel like this is going to be better than what's coming out. And it's Frankenstein. This has the Seven Soldiers of Victory story. The Grant Morrison Seven Soldiers was really good because it was very horror tinged, and Doug Monkey. I never know how to pronounce his name, but his art is great. They have the Bride of Frankenstein show up at certain points. There's a part where Frankenstein's on Mars, and he's riding like a Martian horse. He fights basically their version of Akira.
I haven't touched any of the Creature Commando-y, Agents of Shade, like none of this stuff.
So the New 52 stuff was trash, but the Seven Soldiers I really, really liked. The Zatanna story, the Clarion Witch Boy story, even the Shining Knight was really good. Grant Morrison wrote every one of the books. So like it was 32 different issues going on, and he wrote every one of them with a different artist.
That's crazy.
I know I had some other stuff I was going to pick, but I kind of was like, all right, I got to trim it down because I was like, I'm going to have alternates here just in case.
I started off just making a list of ones I wanted to do, and then I was like, all right, we'll keep this as a separate thing to do for other stuff later on.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just pick out like 20 and then I'll narrow it down from there, whatever. And then I picked out 107, and I was like, I'll save that for content to use later, and then we'll make a different list that will probably be the picks. And then so I had a little Friday 13th show one.
Well, it's funny because like I started going into, well, this isn't a horror book, but they have 3 issues that were horror. So there's a Batman story called Dark Knight, Dark City, where the Riddler is trying to do the satanic rituals to summon this bat demon of Gotham that Grant Morrison eventually brought in and Snyder used, called Barbatos.
Yeah.
So it goes all the way back to Peter Milligan's throwaway 3-issue story he did. Oh. And it's the most devious Riddler story I've ever read.
What was that called?
It's Dark Knight, Dark City.
Okay.
It had these great Mike Mignola covers to it, and it was just this weird throwaway story, 3 issues. And then there was some other 70s horror stuff like the Son of Satan Marvel Spotlight books and stuff like that, but it's a little too not popular. But
well, then I like that Gargoyle like miniseries. I think that's gorgeous. I think it's so fun.
That was good. Also, the Magic Limited series that came out. I mean, she's literally in hell.
Yeah.
So there's stuff. There's a ton of licensed crap, like the Halloween books that are like way out of print.
Yeah, we got in the very first one. That's like his first time ever in a comic.
Yeah,
like $90 or something.
Yep, and there was like it was Chaos Comics, and there was like 15 different covers, if I recall.
There's not Halloween, but there's like the Freddy versus Ash versus Jason book, and there's like a J. Scott Campbell cover that we had that was so expensive, still sold immediately.
Oh yeah, people, so man. That's the great thing about the horror fans, like they're rabid about it.
Wild. To bring up someone you like, I don't know how you felt about this book, but I thought it was fun. The Williamson Dark Ride. This is like a horror amusement park. This one specifically, I grabbed out the first issue because I really loved. After it began, you got to see the amusement park, and so there's just so many little like Easter eggs in every part of it, where you get to go and look for like. I know there's like a Godzilla ride, and there's so many things just referencing every like horror thing I can imagine, and it's so cute, and it's in the background of like literally every scene. I'm trying to find like the here we go. This is like a map of the amusement park basically. And there's so many little references on everything. You can see Godzilla right here. Obviously, my little baby boy. Yeah, this book it's really fun. It's definitely not scary, but it has a lot of like horror references, horror roots, but it's a really fun time. I think it's only 3 trades, like 15 issues or something. Really fun book.
There was another book, and I can't remember the damn title now. It was from Boom Studios, and it was about these people that are like super powered, like gods, and they awakened and killed all these people.
Behold Behemoth?
No,
I don't know what that book is about. That's why I took the shot.
shit.
It's fun.
Fuck.
Oh no, big yawn. Oof, I'm old, man.
Whatever.
Well,
I want to say it's like Bedlam or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. The art was beautiful. Fuck, this is annoying me now because I went to write it down and I forgot. Because as soon as I saw like something is killing the children, boom, I was like, oh, I can't use that because that's too popular.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah.
Good.
You go to
Good
House of
book.
Slaughter for more Chris Sheehan art, though.
So House of Slaughter has actually been so much more interesting than the Something is Killing the Children main title because they're able to go different places. They're not focused on one thing. So they've introduced like these characters that, you know, there's one kid who's mute and he's missing basically his limbs, but he's an assassin.
Badass. Only technically horror related because it's like murder and stuff, the delicacy. James Albin does this, and so the art is so interesting, very, very all over the place. But I love this book because I find most forms of media to be really predictable, and this one, I'm also for some reason a really big sucker for like food manga, and that hasn't delved into comics too much, but I don't know why I like it so much because I'm not a foodie. But the draw food, I'm really not like the day that we are into like this dystopian universe where we can just have like Go-Gurt tubes of food and that's all the nutrients I need in the day, I'm here for it. Give me Grey Goop and I don't have to worry about it.
Grey Goop.
Grey Goop tablets don't need to eat or sleep. That sounds great. But this ends up being there's murder and mystery in this book. It's really fun, and this book is so underrated. Like I don't know anyone who's read this book, and it is a delight. It is a delicacy, if you will.
Dovetailing off, Ronnie Barnes did another title with Simon Kudronsky called Anita Hawes' Nightmare Blog. And it is about a character who her brother and her family died in front of her, and she's haunted by her dead brother who gives her tips, and it's tied into the Philadelphia universe. And it has the first story arc is about a blues singer who is fucked over by the music industry. They basically robbed his livelihood, who is possessed by the devil and dismembering people.
Healthy.
I mean, it's all right. It's cool.
Again, tangentially related, because these are just me telling people to pick up books that I adore. This is Monster Mind. I've gotten several therapists to check out this book when they're not really into comics. This is Alfonso Casa, who's I really adore, but English is his main language, so we definitely don't always. There's a little bit of a language barrier here, but he takes all of his little mental worries and turns them into these adorable, which kind of helps me view my own little mind monsters as something not to be hated. But you can see they all have their own little different designs, and it's stuff like depression and anxiety and everything like that.
All that fun stuff.
Yeah. But it kind of shows how they all like enact on a person differently. And it's such a refreshing take, but it's like it's something that puts something in such a cute, silly way, but it's actually so poignant. And this is from a Blaze, and I feel like Ablaze doesn't publish anything bad. Like maybe it won't be something you like because you don't like that genre or something, but everything they do is amazing because I believe everything they do, with the exception of a Mark Russell book, is translated works. I
Oh,
could be wrong, but like Els is like a French thing, which is also very good for someone with like DID. I know someone with DID, and they say that book is the best representation of it they've ever seen. But yeah, this is I believe French. The Max Urbana stuff, like 14 and 12, is also amazing. But yeah, so a lot of this stuff comes from different parts of the world, and they're putting us into a place that American or dirty Americans who don't speak other languages can understand them. And this book is no exception. This book is gorgeous, and I love his little mind. Like so, anyone who suffers with having a brain, any human who is unfortunate enough to own a mind, highly recommend this book.
I felt Ice Cream Man was too popular to do.
Yeah, silver coin. I
But
thought.
one that I go back to quite a lot because of how deep it gets was Black Monday Murders.
I need to
The
read.
So basically, Wall Street and the economy is basically a satanic ritual run by the richest people in the country. They sacrifice people to keep it going, family members.
Wow, you were really fast.
There's not much to say. Like, I feel like just the little bit. I was gonna pick Beneath the Trees, but I thought that was too popular.
I did. I also there are just like so many like weird ones I want to talk about. Beneath the Trees is beautiful, and also, despite it being like my favorite book last year, I still haven't read the last issue of it.
Oh, it tied up everything nicely.
I know. I'm excited. I will. But I love that book. I love that book so much. It's amazing. I'm so happy it's getting all the love that it is. Dwellings was everyone was obsessed with this book. I could not keep it on the shelves, and I cannot tell you how rare that is for like a square bound $10 a book deal. So this book is a horror book, but Jay Stevens does this, and it's in the cutest little art style. It's so sweet. But they do. This is my favorite part. They do all these like paying homage to classic ads, and they're so fun. I love them so much. As I'm showing you like gore on the other side. This hardcover is also really well done. I've been really impressed with a lot of things Oni has been doing. I love the 2 anthology titles they have going on, the Epitaph and the Catacombs. Is that the other one? There's a sci-fi
Sounds
one.
familiar. Catacombs.
There's a sci-fi one and a horror one. They're both fantastic. I like Toxic Summer from them. Like Oni's been putting out a lot of good stuff in my eyes recently. Get me out of here! Get me out of here!
All right. So my next one is a book that Gambit actually helped with the Puerto Rican history on. It is Chicacabra
I was
by
surprised
Tom
you
Beeland.
talked about that.
Book 2 is coming out soon. Gambit actually edited it. But the book is about a girl whose mother is dying, and she has started acting out with her family, and she ends up getting possessed by the Chupacabra. And the Chupacabra ends up becoming her buddy. But it's cute. That's the Chupacabra when she's
Aww.
possessed.
I love that.
But it's so highly personal. The art is very cartoony, but the story has so much emotion in it where it almost left me in tears at the end, which I'm going to repeat a lot. I end up in tears a lot, apparently.
Can't relate. Jealous.
It rarely happens, but I did read this after my mom passed, so like it was strangely personal at the time.
Oh yeah.
But Jen was like, I fucking love this book, and I'm surprised.
I mean, that's like part of the joy of what media does to us, right? Like it's us attaching our own personal experiences to it. Like the only book that got me close to crying was The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, and like,
oh yeah,
reading it like my dog died like in between the penultimate and last issue. So like,
so that's a little bit more of like the Chicacabra, and she ends up becoming friends with her possession. It protects her. So I really enjoyed it. It's funny. It's really funny, and she's constantly like, her uncle, his answer to everything is, oh, let me cook for you. Let me make food. Do a power bomb was
really scary.
Yeah, that was a rough ending. It reminded me of when Hulk Hogan got beat by Ultimate Warrior.
Pumpkins doesn't like wrestling.
I know. Well, I'm
Um,
gonna have to.
this book made me fall in love with both Matthew Ehrman and Lisa Sturl, and I am huge fans of both of them. Go on to do great things like Witchblood for Lisa Sturl and Dying Inside is about to happen. Matthew Ehrman just did Loving Ohio, did Bonding, which I have up here. Both phenomenal creators. This is a lovely, scary, kind of sad story about two girls. And I'm usually, I don't know, I feel like it's a little dicey to do black and white for a horror book. I feel like it works really well for The Walking Dead because it's a long running zombie book, so it would just be like a lot of browns and reds and it'd be kind of gross, right? But this is like more of like a haunted wood kind of situation. So I felt like it was a dicey move, but it ended up working out beautifully. It makes you feel like you're walking scared in the dark too. This book is amazing. There is a long lost part 2 as well. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous book. Mwah.
For me, it's The Devil's Highway by Benjamin
Woo!
Percy and Brent Schoonover. It is a book about a snake cult that is kidnapping people at truck stops, and it basically uses truck stopways. And a woman who returned after being kicked out of the Marines finds out her father was killed protecting one of these women, and she's coming to have revenge. It's very Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And it's a very interesting book, especially the further it goes. This is part of the snake cult stuff. And it was a nice mystery. And it was the first book I ever bought from AWA.
I was gonna say I used to really like AWA, and so I loved Hotel. I thought that one was great. Red Border and Bad Mother were also like fun horror titles. I love Fight Girls. That's not a horror title, but it was still fun.
I didn't love that one.
So I went in thinking it was gonna be more of like a silly, fun action movie, and I think that was the good mindset to go in with it because it was not anything deep, but it was fun. And Frank Cho drawing like monsters and babes, like that's what meant to do, like. So this specific cover is like a convention exclusive cover. It is absolutely gorgeous because I don't really have a lot of trade paperbacks, which is definitely making this a little harder. But this is a huge, huge favorite of mine. This is The Rush from Vault. So Rush is pertaining to the Gold Rush, but it also stands for "This hungry earth reddens under snow-clad hills." Words. And this is a gorgeous book. Nathan Gooden does the art for this. There's stunning creature design that is absolutely terrifying. But there is a son who goes off into the gold rush, and the mother is just trying to find her son. And things just get worse and worse from here. Hassan does the lettering here, and he is just the best in the game. The colors in these like sepia tones often add to like exactly what you're supposed to be feeling. But then as soon as you're dealing with like these monsters that are crying floods of gold, like then it really like brings you into it. It is sad and terrifying and beautiful. Big fan. This is like one of my favorite Vault books that made me really love Vault. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's also Cy Spurrier, and this is his best work. So,
Terry, how are you, sir? Good seeing you. So one of my favorite books, and we just talked about the creator not too long ago, Nailbiter by Joshua Williamson. This is the Murder Edition hardcover. Him and Henderson were two of my favorite creators at the time. They worked so well together, doing a Twin Peaks kind of horror. Like I'd almost call it a horror serial. Like it would be like X-Files. There's all this weird shit going on in this town that tends to have serial killers pop up, and one of the most infamous was the Nailbiter, who we see here in his prom photo with the sheriff of the town. And more gets unfolded about as the series goes on about the Nailbiter and what went on in this town. And there's a character called the Butcher who looks like Frank Frazzetta's death dealer that's running around town. There are all these themed serial killers. There's one called the Silent Movie Killer who kills people talking in movies.
honestly, valid. That's fine.
There's the cat caller who kills guys cat calling.
Yeah.
So there's all these themed killers, and every one of them you're like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I just remember like we did a book club episode talking about it. I just remember Jeb going, I'm good with that one. I'm good with that one. But it's a fun book because it takes all the horror tropes and kind of makes fun of them. And I love that. And Hack Slash did the same thing, where I love a good horror book that can kind of make fun of itself. And this is one of those that did it.
I definitely need to reread it. It's been a long time, but I did adore it when I was reading it, but it was very early in my comic reading career. I am so happy, Dan, that we've gone on this long, because that means I get an excuse to talk about this book that I don't get to talk about nearly enough in my life. Beasts of Burden. I love this book. If you like horror stuff, but you don't actually want to be scared, this is the book for you. If you like dogs, if you like cats, if you have a pet, this is the book for you. These are ghost hunting dogs. Love them. So first off, it's Dorkin and Thompson doing it, and Thompson's art is phenomenal. This is going to be the worst art of them because it's the first one. So the art only gets better from this point on. And these pets are just like paranormal hitmen, my guy. Like, it's just, they're going out, and whenever something is wrong, they're being cute little detectives, and they're figuring out what is going on. I think there's 3 or 4 hardcovers. There's also trades if you like trades instead. Can't relate, but whatever. But it's gorgeous. It's amazing. I love Beasts of Burden so much. I love dogs. I love ghosts. This book is perfect.
Well, my next horror book I'm going to mention is Deadpool Team Up #1. Rob Liefeld, written and drawn by. It is the worst book I have looked at in the last 10 years. So Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah!
Love it. I had to get this cover for the TV show, but fuck, the art is great. It's satanic. It's everything you want that the Sabrina show wasn't. I recommend picking this up. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Afterlife with Archie that unfortunately never finished. There is a great.
They think that it might now because the guy who wrote it, like, it was doing a lot of stuff with the Riverdale TV show, and now that that's no more. Seems
but
like
Frank Avia was doing art on it though too, so like. But there is an issue in it where Sabrina is basically sacrificed to Cthulhu. Of it. It was fascinating. Just I remember coming out going, oh, it's a fucking Archie book, whatever. And I started reading, goes, this is metal. Like,
they're all pretty fun. There's Jughead
yeah.
the Hunter. There's Vampironica.
There's the one with the twins.
Oh yeah, the Blossom 666.
Yes, the Blossom. That was fun. That was good. I really enjoyed that one.
There's this really cute variant cover from late in that Archie run before Afterlife with Archie that like is paying homage to like what is about to come or whatever, that I don't think was planned at all, but it was like Betty the Slayer. And like,
yes, I saw that. I read that.
And it looks so cool. Like, I want that cover, but obviously it's worth something new. All right. I want to grab this book that's sitting on my bed. Wah! Oh man, my stupid old body.
Your old body? All right.
Oh, I got bad joints, man. So this is mainstream, but I just reread it the other night, and I meant to read an issue, but I read the whole thing because it's so fucking good. And I read it because I want to read the sequel coming out. And again, I know it's mainstream, it's DC, it's fine. But I feel like a lot of people skipped out on this book either because it was DC and they're a DC reader, but when they're a DC reader, they want to read things like Absolute Power, not random horror books. Or indie people didn't go grab it because it's a DC book. So I feel like it was in this awkward area that almost like made it harder for people to get to. The art in this book is so gorgeous. The first issue, it's only 12 issues, and then it's done. And then there's a sequel series, but you could just read this. But after the end, like you.
So it dovetails. They have both groups in the next series together.
I haven't read the new one at all yet.
It's as good, if not better. Yeah,
as soon as I got to because at first when I knew there was a sequel, I was like, but like when you get to the end of this one, you're like, no, I get it. It is gorgeous. The first issue in this book gave me the closest thing to a jump scare that a comic has ever given me.
Oh, the end.
put down my comic and be like, okay, like it is, and there's a lot of like little Easter eggs which I really like. But this
It
book is,
teases you too because it's like, okay, where is it going? Where is it going? Oh shit.
yeah, this is huge recommend.
Mm.
This is something that I've recommended a lot of people that don't read comics and they've loved it. Like this can be baby's first comic. Like this book is great. This is my favorite way to read comics. I love deluxe hardcovers, but I will say this one, I feel like when they were writing it, they didn't think that it would get encapsulated in something like this because sometimes like the gutter loss is kind of weird or like it does like you don't exactly know where you're supposed to be reading because it cuts off the edges sometimes. But this book is gorgeous and there's so much like cool extra back matter, which I love in this.
Tinian, see, like I love his horror and non-mainstream stuff more than I love his mainstream stuff. Like I thought his Batman run was mid.
I didn't like Justice League Dark at all.
No, but I love all his horror stuff. World Tree, finally I'm understanding what the fuck is going on in that book. Like it's very confusing now. I'm like, okay, I kind of know what's happening, so like I'm cool. I really liked a series he did for Boom called The Woods.
Yes, the art on that one. I love the little guys in it.
Oh, I feel like that's a slept-on book.
Yes, definitely. He was just doing this big Kickstarter event, and there was The Woods included in that for like getting nice hardcovers and stuff. So I hope that brings more eyes to it. But to be fair, as a shop, like I can't order that anymore. Like Boom doesn't have it in print in any way.
Yeah.
Like they have a little bit of memetics sometimes, but they don't have the rest of the two in that trilogy either. Like his stuff is hard to get as a shop.
So Dark Horse is pretty synonymous with horror and licensed properties, and there is a horror book that went on for a long time that I love, and it's by Cullen Bunn and Tyler Crook. Harrow County is so good, and unfortunately, I don't have the hardcover with me. I lost it in a divorce of friends. It got borrowed and never returned. I love that series.
And I was like, wow, I'm learning things tonight.
No, so I love that series. Tyler Crook is one of those artists who you'll see his work and you don't know it's him. And he does such a good job with it. He also did a lot of the Sabrina stuff. And I believe he did a little bit of the art with Archie versus Sharknado.
Can't say I read that.
No, a lot of people did. The covers were fucking awesome.
Did you read Archie versus Predator?
I did.
Archie versus Punisher?
No.
This could be your area of specialty. Like you could just be the guy that reads all the Archie versus books, you know?
No, I'm the guy who watches every Jason Statham movie. Apparently that is what my role in life is.
Man, I don't know, man. The Meg 2 was too disappointing. There was not enough shark.
No, I mean, just the fact that he's fighting eco-terrorists, like, I don't know, that the whole shit in the beginning was so weird.
Starts out, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like, I think that the very first shot in the movie is just him doing pull-ups. Like, that's it.
Yeah, he's inside that container ship.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh.
So, we talked about this earlier. Those Chaos Halloween books are super expensive. I do have a set still somewhere. I really liked it. Unfortunately, I have trouble reading it because the artist for 2 of the issues apparently is a pedophile. Justiniano. He was kicked off the Justice League Dark books.
That guy, okay.
So it's very hard for me to read those books, but there was ones that came out from Devil's Due.
Yeah.
That also tortured me because they started a book called The First Death of Laurie Strode. Came out with 2 issues and never finished because Devil's Due went under.
Oh, I didn't know Devil's Due went under.
Well, they stopped paying the creators, so like apparently that was an issue. So the artist Jeff Zorno apparently still has pages from it that he can't sell.
Interesting.
And for anybody who collects Jason Sean Alexander on Halloween, he's doing a huge original page dump.
Ooh.
So there'll be Spawn pages that hadn't been released yet. Philadelphia, the only first 2 issues he did in physical media. So those are going to be hard to come by. And I was very sad to see that Jonathan Mark Baravecchia, whatever he was working on, the publisher did not take, so he has all this original art for a book that's never coming out.
Yeah, I heard him talking about that, but I liked his transparency about it.
Yeah, I kind of like his I don't give two fucks attitude, and Sean has been very critical of the whole industry of like, they told me I can't do this. Fuck them. I did it.
Very cute couple.
They did a meet cute at a cafe. But I also like that, like, when we had Philip Kennedy Johnson on, he's like, all the Easter eggs he puts in shit, like, just randomly, he's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this, but I'm just going to throw it in this book just because.
Yeah.
Which Green Lantern War Journal that end with his mother?
I haven't read the last issue.
Oh.
I had to give my copy I didn't have to, but I gave my copy to a customer, so I haven't read it yet. But I'm binging all of the other Green Lantern runs, so I'm just.
It was solid.
Together,
it was solid. But the whole run had been very emotional about what was going on with the mother and the Lantern Energy sister.
I think he's just the best modern comic writer. I think he's just like becoming a living legend. Like he just.
Which is funny because my first knowledge of him was the Fellspire Chronicles, The Last God, which will forever be one of my favorite books, along with Planetary.
My mom bought that from him at Terrificon. She will never read it.
I was gonna say, I hope your mom likes body horror.
She's down for some horror. She likes high fantasy stuff. She doesn't like reading though. She'll tell herself she'll read it for many years, and she'll be like, "Yeah, I'll start any day now for 7 years."
So, what's your go-to spooky season movies? Since we're,
Okay, so it depends on. Well, let me put down Outcast. But by the way, this is like the best Kirkman book.
I have all of them CGC 9.8, the whole entire run.
Why?
So part of it was the TV series was coming out, so I didn't want to like Walking Dead fuck myself.
Elizabeth Breitweiser is like one of my favorite colorists, and so like she does this thing where like each page is in like a very specific like.
The first 10 issues were so fucking good of that series. Like there's such creepy shit that goes on in that book, especially with the little kid who's like bashing his head into the wall.
I am not a Walking Dead hater, but like this book has nothing on anything else, Robert Kirkman. I like Void Rivals. That's fun. It's not horror, but it's good.
Void Rivals is so outside his I guess it's closer to Invincible kind of sensibilities.
I don't really. It's fine.
But the Energon universe has no business being as good as it is. It really does not. To have Dan Waters doing a fucking Destro book, like, again, there's no reason they should have such good writers and artists on this fucking books.
A good creepy NDC Dan Waters book is definitely like Arkham City Order of the World. That's a good one to like get some main two people into the vibes. But
an Image book I almost picked by Dan Waters was the one
Homesick Pilots?
Yes.
Hell yeah. That was on my list, but I was like, I don't feel like it wasn't like scary. It was enough in the vibe, but Casper and they're so good. They're so good. But yeah, I love that book. So my favorites, so I have like kind of different categories because a lot of my friends don't like horror stuff. So like I got my roommates into like Scream. I love Scream. Actually, hot take. Today's Friday the 13th, so I love the excuse to get all spooky. I don't really care about Friday the 13th movies. I need to try to rewatch them, but it's been a long time. But yeah, Scream is definitely my favorite of like those franchises.
2, 3, 4, and 6 are the only Friday the 13th movies you need to watch, and then just you don't need to watch.
Okay, I recently watched the first one, and I didn't even like finish it. I was just like, wow, I'm not having a good time. And I'm gonna suffer through it because I need to watch the first one once in my adult life, all the way through, and I haven't.
So don't watch it in 4K or HD because you're gonna see something that's gonna fuck you up.
Dude, I watch everything on this.
Well, you're gonna realize Pamela's hands are a man's, and they didn't shave their hands, so it's like hairy. Spoilers, it was Pamela Voorhees.
Woo! I love a good campy horror movie that's not really horror, like a Beetlejuice, like a Gremlins. Like I love those. I think they're really fun. I love that they exist. I love classics. I love The Blob. The Thing is one of my favorite movies.
Have you watched the Blob remake from like 1986?
No, I like the 50s one a lot though.
The
It's actually
86 one,
creamy. There's a Blobfest every summer for like
the
3 days.
1986 one is so good.
Really? Okay.
The
I just never
effects are
watched it.
good.
Okay.
I love it.
I'll put that on my list.
Um,
Anywhere
I
to
love I love campy horror movies too. Like there's a place in my heart like for a scary movie. Weirdly at work, Arsenio, who you met at the Christmas party, the black delegation, he'll just randomly start quoting stuff from Scary Movie, and we'll just start quoting it for about a half hour.
I watched recently on my little vacation with Ryan. I saw Megan. That movie was way better than I anticipated. And I saw Smile, also way better than I anticipated. I put them both
So
on to be kind of
I
bad.
hated I hated Abigail. I hated Abigail with a passion.
Yeah, the only person who told me it was good was someone whose opinion I do not trust when it comes to horror movies, so I automatically assumed it wasn't good because they recommended it.
Wow. Was it Greg?
Greg, does Greg watch horror movies? I feel like he's like a sweet
No,
baby.
he
Okay, I was
doesn't.
gonna say.
Him and John.
Jen,
John watches
I don't watch
John watches like Manhunter movies, like true like crime movies that border on horror, like Zodiac
John
and stuff
watches
like that.
he watched the classics. I know he's watched like The Thing and The Shining.
Yeah.
Like that stuff.
Well, Carlito finally watched John Carpenter's The Thing, and I was just like, "Well, what did you think?" He's like, "I really liked it." I was like, "Wow, thanks for waiting 30 years to watch it."
I mean, I watched it for the first time like probably like 5 years ago or something, and it was a huge favorite of mine now, like top 5 movies for sure. It was my favorite before I watched The Poseidon Adventure.
So I had someone I was dating that hated the end of that movie, of The Thing, and it was like a huge problem with us. Because she's like, "I can't believe you like the end of it," but yet she watched the end of Inception, was like, "This is great." I was like, "It's the same fucking ending." Like it became
for breakup, terminated relationship due to disagreements over John Carpenter's The Thing.
it was
Have
borderline.
You watched the first one, the like Thing from Another World or whatever from like the 50s?
Yes, with the living carrot. Yes,
I haven't read it at all or watched. I mean, I haven't read it either, I guess, but yeah, I have not consumed it.
So weirdly, oh my god, Carlito I've talked to him about Fright Night several times. Okay, so you know what, JoJo? We're making him watch Fright Night. I love Fright Night. Especially Evil Ed. Because there's a part where he's dressed up like Charlie's mom. It's like, "Your mother is working late. Dinner is in the oven." Evil Ed is like the funniest, worst character in that movie.
I used to like the movie with my dad all the time, and then we saw the like remake or whatever that came out a few years ago.
With Colin Farrell.
We saw midnight release, and that's all the thing. We're like, we like Colin Farrell. We like the original. This is going to be sick as hell. And then we saw it, and it was not great.
I'm excited for the Penguin series to start.
I'm so excited. I'm going to actually watch a TV show for once, but I'm going to use it as like bonding.
I'm actually going to say it's not horror, but it's borderline like horrible stuff happening. That Penguin series, the comic.
I just binged the whole thing, and it's glorious. It's so weird. I just read it like 2 days ago. That's very weird that you brought that up.
No, because I started thinking, I was like, man, there's a lot of horrible shit that happens in that book. Like that I love that series. Like,
sad. It's so good. I love Tom King. I'm so biased, but I love that book.
And this is where I started catching shit in the comments on my videos.
Your stupid Batman, Tom King. Nah.
No. People on the comments were coming at me about that Penguin video I put up saying that I liked it.
That book is amazing. I've never heard anyone say anything otherwise.
But no, it was because, well, you fucking hate Tom King on Batman. How could you like this? But it's different because he's writing a character that hasn't been fleshed out. Batman's been like deconstructed to death. Now, when like Riddler in the Killing Time?
I haven't read Killing Time yet.
Oh, that leads right into Penguin.
I know. I figured that out pretty like after I already started. And it was like, I'm too late now.
But I also had the same thing. Like, I'm not a huge Harley Quinn fan, but I love the design and everything in Marini's Dark Prince Charming.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that book was definitely for the art for me. Like
which I found the statue.
Yeah.
It's $300 plus
Yeah.
$90 to ship.
Ugh. But the art on that is so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's so good.
Are you gonna be behind me in an easy way? Yeah. So I had him sign my original hardcovers. So like, because now it's produced into one. And I find this really endearing. So nobody say anything mean to him. He spelled my name wrong, and I thought it was so cute, even though he like spelled it beforehand. He's so sweet. He did on both of them, and I thought it was funny. So I love these, and they're mine forever. To Tassa. That's me, guys. I'm Tassa.
So there is an Italian version I saw that has different covers.
Oh yeah.
Which I was gonna import, but then I saw how much it was gonna cost to have it shipped on eBay, and I was like, I'm just gonna back off of it. So usually for spooky season, the original Salem's Lot TV series from the 70s.
I need to watch that.
I will watch. Fright Night, I will watch.
Yeah.
Halloween 1, of course. I, of course, have to watch Resurrection from Halloween to hear Busta Rhymes say, "Happy fucking Halloween," as he kung fu fights Michael Myers. I watch most of the Halloween movies.
I was wearing one of our Halloween shirts today. Actually, I wore two
Halloween shirts
today. I wore that one, and then I wore a different one before I got ready for this one. So
there's The Exorcist. I'll usually watch.
It's been a long time. I should rewatch that.
John Carpenter's The Thing. I'll watch. I'll usually like variate, like Child's Play every now and again. I'll play.
So good. It's so much better than anyone would expect that movie to be.
So my mom's birthday would have been during the season, so she was a huge Hellraiser fan. So during the season, I'll watch the Hellraiser movies. Weirdly, her birthday was September 11th.
My sister's, yeah.
So it's one of those things. My mom got me into horror, so like I always use this time of year to kind of honor and watch what she did, because like
get closer to her.
A little bit, just kind of remembrance. Like I had a huge issue when we interviewed Philip Kennedy Johnson, because I know my mom would have flipped out that we were interviewing a Superman writer, because there's no character she loved more than Superman and Wonder Woman.
Wow, that's sweet.
And I had a moment where we were talking to Philip. I was like, my mom would have been the proudest she would have been about anything. Like freaking out, like, wow, he's talking to someone who actually wrote Superman, and like how much of a nerd he was.
Wow. Philip is also the sweetest guy on the whole planet. Definitely helps.
Yeah, that too. Like it's for the fact he was having a blackout and came onto the show to like bullshit about just random shit and tell us about some random thing he threw in a Batman villains book about Ra's al Ghul with a chessboard.
He's gonna be doing a signing at Cloud.
Nice.
He was like, "Yeah, come on, let me do a signing," and I was like, "Sure."
I mean, at some point,
yeah, sure.
At some point, Sean Lewis is going to show up at your store, because it sounded like him and John were going to just like show up one day and start signing shit.
Then he will see so many books that he writes all in the store, because I like him. I buy his books.
The funniest thing was John posting videos of him at a flea market picking up Sleepwalker issues. I thought he was joking.
Can I tell you my guilty pleasure for horror movies?
Yes.
I understand this is a guilty pleasure. It's fine. I truly love.
Is it Frankenhooker?
Good. No, it's not. But I'm sold based on the title already. I don't think they're good, but I love them. Final Destination 1 through 3.
No. So I have never now, because of that fucking lumber truck.
That's what I'm saying. It sticks with you, so you know it's.
Yes. Forever. If I'm in a car with someone, like, move.
So the first 3 use great practical effects. Or the third one, they do kind of cover it with some digital blood for some reason, but they still have practical effects. I love them. 4th one's garbage. 5th one, a lot of people love, but I don't like it because it's more of a drama than a horror. But the 3rd one is the roller coaster one, right? It's in the amusement park.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a DVD extra where you get to play games on a little DVD game, and you get to choose who lives, who dies, how they die, just based on playing the stupid DVD game. I want that so bad.
Guilty pleasure for me. There's a movie called Night of the Creeps with Tom Atkins, who was in Halloween 3.
Who was he in Halloween 3?
He was Dr. Chalice.
Okay.
So he was the main character. And it's so cheesy. It's basically like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers movie, except there's these slugs taking over people from space.
What
And
is this movie?
it's very 1950s.
What is the movie?
Night of the Creeps.
I think I've seen like the poster for that.
Jojo agrees with you.
I love it. I just found out that there are books, and I want to go read them. I think it's gonna be fun. No,
I really feel like Jojo needs to be on the show right now.
yeah, like I love and again, it's something that it's like I'm not gonna go be like, guys, this is the best horror movie of all time, because it's not like, but I love it. It is such a guilty pleasure. I have such a great time. It's so fun to me. I love those movies.
So there's a 1978, I believe, 77, 78 Night of Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Leonard Nimoy and oh my god, Donald Sutherland.
I don't know actors. Cool.
Kiefer Sutherland's dad, who was a big actor in the 70s. They do such a good ending to this movie. The ending is jarring because you think it's a happy ending. But the way they end it has such an effect on me, and I remember it to this day. Not as much as the Poltergeist, where the clown starts choking out the kid. That's the most horrifying thing to this day still for me.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers was my favorite horror movie when I was a little kid, like elementary school, middle school, and I just haven't seen it since probably like 7th grade. So I don't remember it that well, but I do immediately just have like a love for it.
It's one of those movies that's so weird because like I remember the original had like giant like pea pods.
Yeah. Brian and I are rewatching all of the Universal monster movies as the like Image comics are coming out. So we're about to do Frankenstein, but we did Creature Black Lagoon. That one was so good. That's been really fun to get to revisit those.
I didn't love the Black Lagoon comic.
I thought it was fine. I haven't finished it. Yeah.
But after Dracula, the first issue of Frankenstein was good by Michael Walsh.
I haven't read it yet. I want to. I love Michael Walsh. But that's also a thing. Wasn't Dan Waters the one who did Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yes.
One of my favorite writers. I love him. And I don't know. I specifically
They went for an angle that didn't land with me, I guess.
Yeah. And it was also, I don't know, I think Creature from the Black Lagoon is like romantic almost. And like they said that Dracula was kind of like a retelling, but then Creature from the Black Lagoon takes off right after the first movie. And I don't know. It was very strange to me.
Yeah, I didn't love it. So Frankenstein, I'm going to tell you there's one movie you shouldn't watch, Son of Frankenstein. It's terrible.
I mean, I watched it a long time ago, but yeah, I'm just watching the base one. I used to slowly watch everything, but right now it's just for watching
guilty pleasure, the first 2 Mummy movies.
Oh my god, Brendan Fraser. The Mummy is better than Indiana Jones is my hot take.
The first one in particular, yes. After the Last Crusade,
yeah,
Brendan Fraser could have stepped into that role and not been an issue.
Brendan Fraser,
and he apparently fucked his back up bad doing the stunts in that because he wanted to do the stunts.
Oh, he's so hot. Him like just tossing the girl over his shoulders.
Well, Rachel Weisz back then. Oof.
But yeah, I always say, like, I had The Mummy and The Mummy 2 on Blockbuster DVDs, and I ran those. So I have a little list of movies that I want to get on DVD because I love them, or physical media, I should say, not necessarily DVD. And I'm going to go put The Mummy on it right now. I love that so much. Movies
so
too.
There is a set you can get at Walmart that has the first 2.
Fuck yeah.
And it's like $10.
Ooh. Get to see Brendan Fraser? Get me all flustered up here. Woo.
So one of my favorite guilty pleasures because it's so bad is Maximum Overdrive.
What is that?
For some reason, people let Stephen King direct a movie during the 80s. One of his stories.
Was like really high, right? Like that was like his.
He was high as fuck on cocaine.
Yeah.
And like even the trailer, which you can find on YouTube, he is so fucking high and he's like, I'm Stephen King. You want to be scared? And he's like, they have the Green Goblin face on the front of one of the evil trucks in it. Yardley Smith, who does the voice of Lisa Simpson's in it. Like, it's fucking crazy. Emilio Estevez is in it. And Stephen King's just in this trailer, like, nutty as fuck.
Hmm.
And it's him high on cocaine at the height of him being like high. And there is a horror documentary I watched on 80s horror where Tom Atkins was in Creepshow and Stephen King wrote some of it. And Joe Hill was in the movie.
Oh.
Tom Atkins smacks him as a little kid. And Stephen King comes over. He's like, I need to talk to you. So he thinks he's going to talk to him about smacking his kid. No, Stephen King goes, hey, what was it like making out with Jamie Lee Curtis in The Fog?
Honestly, I second that question. Yeah.
It was just like, he was like, I thought he was going to yell at me for smacking his kid too hard, but he didn't give a fuck about his kid. He just wanted to know what Jamie Lee Curtis was like during the 80s.
So fair. Jamie Lee Curtis is badass.
So The Fog's another one I will watch.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China is my favorite. Like, I'm feeling shitty and I want to go home and watch something funny. That and It Evolution by with David Duchovny and Orlando Jones in it, I will watch. They make me laugh.
I think of I think like a funny movie I like is like Gremlins. Like I don't really like funny movies.
Gremlins and Gremlins 2 are great.
Fuck yeah. Oh my god. So I learned about this today because I realized that I just wanted to watch everything that directors every time. And so Gremlins 1 happened. And I was like learning about all the behind the scenes stuff, which honestly back then, like it's kind of phenomenal. Like how they're making like these little animatronics. It's fucking badass. And every time like one would break, they would have to have a delay for like hours sometimes. And just be like, all right, eh.
Well, that was Jaws. The shark didn't work half the
Gremlins
time.
is an actual good movie.
Ooh, that is scorching hot.
But so the guy who did Gremlins, the studio kept trying to figure out how to do Gremlins 2, and he was like, no, Gremlins is perfect. We don't need a second one. And the studio kept being like, fine, all right, let's figure out how to do it. And they were like, Gremlins in the ocean, Gremlins in space. Like they could not figure it out. So they were like, fine, dude, whatever you want. Happy Friday 13th. And he was like, fine, I want 4 times the budget and I want complete creative control, which is wild. And they were like, fine. And so he made a movie making fun of them trying to make another movie. And it was just like, I love you. It's just crazy enough to be perfect. And I watched the trailer for it before I saw the second one, and I was like, this is gonna be bad. But I was like, no, it's perfect. I played that VHS, the first one, like crazy. Literally the movie on VHS I watched more than anything else.
I just want to take a minute. NorCal Geek Living, I'm hoping you're doing well. I noticed you're off of Instagram as Project Comic Mayhem. I hope everything's going well, and I kind of missed your posts. Big horror fan. So again, hope all is going well, brother.
Thank you for joining us for holiday. Yeah. Hey, we should have a horror show every Friday 13th.
I'm down. Like I love this shit. And also like, so I'm kind of a little bit weird. I saw that this Halloween we're not getting a lot of new comic titles that are even in Scaryville.
I mean, to be fair, I think that we're starting to get more horror comics just throughout the year. Like we have multiple horror anthologies happening right now, right? Like we have Hello Darkness, we have Epitaph from the Abyss, we have we have Ice Cream Man, and Silver Coin's about to come back. Like so like there's a lot of horror just in general. And that's only anthologies. Like there's just I feel like maybe it's just more normal to have it all the time, which I kind of prefer horror books all the time. Otherwise it just feels like I don't want it to be like a Christmas movie I only watch in December, you know? I want it to be something I get all the time.
I kind of laugh that like Simon Kudrowski has become the horror guy now.
Who? Sorry?
Simon Kudrowski, or Kudrensky, sorry. He did what was it? The Blood Commandment.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
And he does a lot of the Spawn work, but he's now becoming kind of the go-to horror guy. And he had the Something Epic title coming out, or that came out.
Yeah, that's why I know his name. Yeah, it was from that.
Yeah, he did a lot of Rodney Barnes stuff filling in too. I dig his work, and honestly, he's growing as a writer, which is kind of phenomenal to watch.
I liked Something Epic. It was just like a lot. Like I knew that each issue was going to take me like a long time, and I couldn't read it while I was tired. Like it was just dense.
I'm gonna be honest. Like I was stoked for Power Fantasy, and I've never been more let down by a book before. Like,
really,
I thought there was no character development.
Well, I feel like the next issue is gonna like it's gonna grow a lot more in the next few issues.
It was so blah for me, and then I see like all these YouTube people like promoting the book. I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, it's kind of like I was just whatever with it. And I love Casper Wingard's art, and I love Kieran Gillen, and just that book did nothing for me.
Yeah, I got to get a copy before it came out because Casper. And I mean, the art is amazing. It's definitely one of those ones where I feel like it's going to grow a lot, and I think the book's going to get pretty big. But I feel like it's going to be like the characterization is going to happen in the next few issues. I feel like it was supposed to be like here, boom, look at this craziness. All right, let's now fill you in and like make you have like actual stories.
And I think it's weird because Kieran Gillen, for the most part, has always been about like, I'm gonna slow play the intros of everybody. Like, I'm gonna give you more about them and then build up to the weird shit.
Yeah, it seems like flipping it, which I'm here for. Like, I like people trying something. I'm into it.
It just, I don't know. Like, maybe it was because it's two creators I like, and I started reading. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, it just didn't do anything for me, and it let me down quite a bit. And that surprised me because I hadn't had a book that I was so excited for just be like, all right, well, I don't know if issue 2 is gonna be a thing for me.
Oh no, I think it's gonna just get like better personally, but I don't know.
I hope so, because issue 1 was not it for me. Like, it really, I haven't been that let down since Mercy by Andolfo, because I was so stoked for that, and I was like, she can't write.
Great art.
Yeah, she just can't write.
She's also a sweetheart.
Oh, I'm sure she is. It's like,
that's not me discounting what you're saying. Like, I like John Romita Jr. I do not like his art whatsoever. Still a delightful human being, absolute wonderful dude. But I don't want to look at anything he creates.
One of my favorite books that actually I'm surprised has a horror tinge to it lately from Marvel, Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko.
I need to catch up, but that makes sense for Peach.
It has such a Japanese horror tinge to it, where like,
I mean, actually, Marvel in general, because you got Hulk, and that's definitely got horror roots. And I mean, this is a one shot from years ago, but I was talking about it earlier today. Fantastic Four road trip, and like, I don't know. I feel like recently Marvel has been dipping their toes more in horror in a regular sense, rather than just like a Marvel zombies.
Well, to be honest, that Blood Hunt shit was trash. Not since
I like the first issue.
Not since Night Terrors have I been more disappointed by a horror tinged run.
I was surprised. I read
Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hell Hunters. I'm excited for.
Oh yeah, like, Philip Kennedy Johnson. Anything I'm excited for. But yeah, I read Blood Hunt like right before I went to Rose City, and I was like, I read the first issue and I was like, damn, wait, is this actually going to be good?
And then it gets worse.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, cool, we're back to not caring. That a good first issue. That was more than I expected, because I thought I was going to hate the whole thing.
To be honest, the character I'm surprised nobody's offered Philip Kennedy Johnson yet is Captain America, because I can only imagine what he could do with that character.
I want to tell you that I don't like Captain America, so I wouldn't be excited, but like, he'd make me fall in love with him somehow.
So the new run of Captain America, I've actually enjoyed.
Is it Kelly and Lansing?
I believe so, yeah.
No, they're cool.
It's been actually like interesting because they're going like off the grid with it. Now the new X-Men stuff that came out since the Krakoa, I have not enjoyed any issue.
I like Uncanny X-Men, and I like Nyx, NYX.
Yeah, I thought the Gail Simone one I was gonna immediately like, and I was like, eh.
It's not amazing, but I like it, and I like NYX.
I'm gonna give the next 2 or 3 issues.
That's how I feel about all of them. I'm giving them all like 2 or 3 issues. I like the Mark Russell one though. Did you not like that X Factor?
Which was the one that had Kitty Pryde in it? Because that one I did like, because she has PTSD now from what happened.
I haven't read that one yet. I have them all, and is that Extraordinary X-Men?
That might be.
That was new for me. Yeah.
She's working in a deli, or not a deli, a diner, and she finds this other mutant that comes in that's being attacked. I really liked it. I can't remember.
I will read it. I just haven't grabbed it yet. Yeah.
I think it just came out last week.
Yeah, no, that's Extraordinary X-Men. So I haven't read that one yet. I haven't read anything for the last 2 weeks. So
I'm into the T's in my rundown. Like I went alphabetical. and I'm still reading the Romnibus. I'm up to volume 2.
Got that down there. Yeah, the second omnibus you're in?
Yeah.
Rad. Yeah, mine didn't come in for some reason, so now I'm trying to order the other cover because I don't know why, but
Which technically Rom is kind of horror because it's body snatchers.
anything can be horror. We can talk and we can rationalize any. That's actually a really fun challenge that we should do sometime. It's just trying to make every title sound like it's horror.
Well, I mean, X-Men had like one of my favorite annuals that Sienkiewicz did the art for was when Dracula attacked them.
Yeah.
And Wolverine had to kill Rachel Van Helsing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe it's...
I know what book you're talking about. I just don't know that happened in it.
Yeah, oh god, I love that cover too. Like, it was so good. It was post-Rogue. I want to say it was annual 11. Now I feel challenged. I was like, I know it's somewhere. I think it was after Rogue.
I think you're right.
I just don't know if it's an annual or if it was a giant size.
I want to guess giant size, but like I feel like my brain can only see the bottom half of the cover.
I think that's the one where him like biting Storm.
Oh, I was thinking of a different book then. That's a great cover. I mean, you know, everything about X-Men is scary. It's scary cool. Wow, that was a really funny joke.
Right away, there's killing Rachel Van Helsing was a mistake. Let's see, Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, I know what book you're talking about, Comic Book Prince. Yeah, that What If book. What if Wolverine was the Lord of the Vampires? Yeah, it's a good cover. I know what you're talking about.
Rachel asked Storm to kill her.
I hope that's how you mutter at work. You just walk around and you're just like, Storm asked her to kill her.
They don't say what annual. They do say it's an annual. It just says same creative team as X-Men 159.
Makes sense.
Claremont, Sienkiewicz, and Bob Wyacek.
Badass team. Damn.
To be honest, like I would pay money for Sienkiewicz to come back and just do a Dracula series.
Oh my god, it'd be so good. But I feel like they wouldn't want that now because even though it was at a different publisher, but they had like Martin Simmons do it, and that's like a similar enough style and character.
Well, no, in Blood Hunt they have Fabio Dracula now, and I don't think I'm cool with that. He's got long, luscious blonde locks.
Dracula gotta be hot, man.
I like more of the nice goatee kind of very Euro. They went to Fabio Dracula, and I can't abide.
Come on the romance covers, man. They don't have Nightwing over there. On that killer note, I am really sleepy, so I am gonna be heading out.
Are you sleepier than when you went to go see Beetlejuice when you couldn't even form sentences?
I'm never great at forming sentences.
No, you were just like, I'm tired. The hell with this. I'm going to bed.
You know, I'm not a perfect person to pretend to be, so I'm not gonna hide my social media self. But you have made me had a very large pile of books on my floor, and that's entirely your fault. So thanks for that.
Don't blame me.
That's entirely your fault.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Booker T. Oh, so just to put it out there again, for anybody who can,
Jennifer,
please go ahead and support our friend Jennifer. This is her GoFundMe. It's in the chat. Even if you can give $1, that's something. Spread the word. Now I've had drinks in me, so I might cry.
Cry. You gotta cry to get the money. You gotta get the cry to get the people to help the other people.
To say the least, we care about her and love her a lot. She's
okay.
Been big in the community. Well, now I'm gonna video cut this and be like, it's okay.
She's solidly mid. She's fine. She's cool. Yeah, she's all right.
Like I was just like, yeah, it's fucked up. I've known Jen for years and Tessa met her before me.
I met you too. Like I'll make the trips. I put my
I got
money where
another
my
Christmas party coming.
mouth is.
You're a hit at the last one.
Oh man.
That was a fun time. So not even gonna fake on that. So yeah, if you can give to Jen's GoFundMe or share in your socials, that would be greatly appreciated. Any little bit helps. I'm not gonna lie, things aren't great. I feel like I kind of made the video Bueller asked at the beginning of this video. Maybe I'll cut it and put it out there.
Is Bueller
For
asking you to make
he was asking everybody to make videos to push for Jen, and I'm not big on the edited videos much anymore. We're always about the dark, spooky vibes.
Happy Friday 13th?
It's in my profile on dating and on Instagram. It hasn't worked out so well, so we'll see what the future.
Yeah, I guess if I was like scrolling through the apps, not that I really do that, I would be like, dark and spooky vibes might be a red flag. I don't know.
No, I feel like I have a YouTube channel. If you really want to see what I'm like, go check it out. It's game enough because if you can get through that, it's like, all right, you can stomach it. It's gonna be real
That's
random.
what I want to hear from potential dates. I want to hear people saying, "Hey, I could stomach you."
It's gonna be real random.
Guys, you know who you could stomach? Jennifer, and therefore,
very much so. And again, this is heading into the rough time of year. She's got a lot of medical bills coming due, and God, I'm terrible at this. She could use every bit of help that we can give, and I gotta
if
go
any
look
of
through
you
my.
guys had anything going on, Jennifer would be doing everything she could to spread the word and to do everything she could to help. And that's the kind of person that we should try to be in every situation.
Very much so. She also threatened to kill me once because I sent her the first Dr. Aphra from Darth Vader. Like
Jennifer will also threaten to kill all of you.
Literally threatened to come kill me.
We can.
It's on the net. It lives forever. It's on the net. I'm trying to make light of everything because that's what I do. I make jokes when I'm nervous. So yeah, please do what you can. I don't want it to feel like I'm begging. Just I feel like
I'll beg for Jan. Please
I
help out someone who needs help. Like
I feel
that's
like
it. Just be a good person.
I feel
Do
like
what you
it's the right thing to do.
and if you can't spend money, like that's totally cool. Like there are so many times when I can't spend money on people, but you know what's cool? A share button is telling your friend that you know this cool person. Even just like commenting on the post that you see promoting her GoFundMe, that helps more people see them. Then the algorithm goes,
Or just resharing. So Bueller is out there. The comic book G Spot. John's
the comic book
Kids.
Never heard of that. Great name. Wow. Holy shit.
Yes, I've been on his show a couple of times. He's a 70s and 80s comic collector. He has a bunch of local hunters from Florida on with him, Puff Comics and everybody else. They have even a guy who is a huge collector they call Mr. White Gloves because he wears white gloves while pulling his books out. But all these people are out there trying to do what's right, and I'm trying to awkwardly do what's right. Not because it's what's right, but because I love Jen. She's been a friend for a long time, and it would mean the world to her and everybody out there listening. I just want to see her back on with us talking comics again. Like it's her passion, her love, and she loves horror. She loves Dune. Sorry, I didn't hear. I have the hearing thing. Anyway, she's someone who loves the hobby that we love, and she had to give up everything she loved because of this. She had a very successful YouTube show, after she left my channel, and she can't do it anymore because she can't be on camera. I've had to have discussions with her where I ended up crying afterward because it hurts me to see someone so strong hurting. No, Tessa and I don't co-run this channel. Tessa has her own channel. We came together by Kismet to randomly talk about shit. And also taunt each other now and again and give each other shit. And she randomly came down to Florida to come visit on just a
like
comment
30
once.
Yeah.
And we had a fun time. But no, we don't co-run this channel. After Jen left the channel, I brought Tessa on to relaunch the show. And it's been fun, sporadic, but fun. And we've gotten to interview some cool creators. So kind of that's what we do. I think this is the first time you've been on our channel on the chat. So we've got a lot of stuff backlogged in there of favorite indie comics, some creator interviews we did that were a lot of fun, especially how like Sean Lewis got the Spawn job.
You can check me out. I have an Instagram and YouTube. I go live every Thursday on my channel, and then other times as well. And I'm on Instagram all the time. I like books.
Talking Swamp Thing of all things.
I am talking Swamp Thing. I thought about bringing that for horror stuff, but I didn't want to cross promote here. But it's real good, man. To be fair though, the next episode we're doing is like the end of Bernie Wrightson on the title, so I feel like it might go get worse after that.
So I just want to make one comment about if you buy the absolute editions of the Bernie Wrightson ones, they recolored them and they look like shit.
So that's what I thought, and then someone else said something different. Did they remake them and recolor them again? Is there reprinting?
They added art to it in some cases. Even on the Alan Moore one, they added art.
That's what I thought, and someone told me I was wrong. I think it was Ryan. Ryan's stupid. Okay.
No, so
I would ever doubt myself. With coloring, that's like what I'm the most passionate about.
So I'm gonna tell you, Karate Kevin, if you've seen him on the interwebs, on Instagram, he is the foremost Swamp Thing expert, and he brought the original issues with the absolutes and the compendium.
That's what I want to do. Yeah, I want to compare them in like I want to do it with everything all the time, honestly.
So Karate Kevin was on one of our Swamp Thing episodes we did that never got further than the second episode. But he brought out his versions versus what we have, and he was like, even he brought out the coloring was off. Then they added additional art that shouldn't have been there.
Oh, fucking hate that shit. I just don't think that old comics should be reprinted on stark, glossy white paper. Like that's gonna have the colors be so garish, not as its intent.
So if you see old Kirby or Ditko stuff reprinted on that glossy paper, it looks so off.
I know, and specifically like that makes me very upset.
Eric Larson's Spider-Man also, they redid on the new paper and it looked off because of the coloring. But thank you for finding the channel, and hopefully we got some new follows. But thank you for everybody watching us talk about horror stuff. As you can tell, we're weirdly passionate about it. We love spooky season. Probably going to have a lot of movie content. Tessa may or may not join us during one of them, especially if we have JoJo on.
Oh god, I get nervous from Pretty Ladies. I'll send you a picture of my schedule later.
JoJo is fantastic. And if you're not following Flicks and Comics, she does trailer reviews, horror movies, and she is got a very impressive comic book collection as well.
I don't know her very much. Cool as fuck.
Yes. She also got into a weird argument with a comic book artist at their table for dismissing her being a female.
Been there, done that, yeah.
That's an interesting story that she told once on the channel. But thank you everybody for watching. Please go share Jen's link if you can. I will add it into the description once we're done. It's in the chat. But
Comics Will Break Your Heart. All one is Jennifer's Instagram too. If you want to go check that out.
Yes, her Instagram, and again, the links will be on there. Also, check out our friends at Marvel by the Month. who also were running her campaign. They're doing every comic that came out during the 70s month by month. It's great. Oh, lots of horror games. Love horror movies.
Yeah, I know. I'm checking this guy out immediately.
Awesome. Definitely. We will be checking. Oh, make puppets.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking Dark Crystal immediately. I don't know why.
Ooh, David Booher just followed me.
What was that?
David Booher just followed me on Instagram.
Is he watching?
It's like he heard me talk about Spec.
So we love to link up with other people. Again, spooky season comes around. If you'd like to come on with us, let us know. I love hearing different voices come on to talk about movies. Carlito, I don't know, it's my channel, so whatever. But look forward to October. Every week we're going to be doing a show talking horror movies. I feel like I'm going to have to do a week where it's something Tessa needs to watch now. Like maybe Fright Night or Night of the Creeps. Night of the Creeps is on my list.
Fright Night. But yeah, Night of the Creeps, I need to watch that. I'm so down.
I love Tom Atkins. I actually have the shirt that says Tom Atkins kicks ass because he's kind of an older gentleman who's a bit of an alcoholic in every movie.
Okay. Does he in fact kick ass?
Well, he did in Halloween 3.
Hell yeah.
He ripped an old lady's head off that was a robot. Do you have anything you want to promote besides your Swamp Thing show?
I have a very cool video that I'm very proud of that's coming out after Baltimore Comic Con, which is next weekend. So in about under 2 weeks, I have a very, very cool video. That's something that I want to do, make more content like that. I'm very excited about. So that'll be on YouTube. And I will be doing a sale to help proceed funds to Jennifer. So check me on Instagram for that. I do them every so often and usually for some kind of charity. So we can get cool books and, give some money to Jennifer.
I started to make a video just completely ripping on Rob Liefeld's Deadpool team up, and I decided that I didn't want to be negative about comics, so I deleted it.
Look at you!
I'd like to say it's growing up, but it hurt me even just railing on it for half an hour. It was half an hour.
Wow, you just said railing on it for half an hour, and I want to say so many things, but in the spirit of us growing up, I'll try to be better.
I did it to myself. I saw it and I was like, that looks terrible. I need to look at this. And then I opened it and saw it written by, illustrated by, and I was like, fuck me running.
To be fair, he's not very nice. I was never, and I know this is horrible blasphemy, I was never a big fan of him or Todd McFarlane. I didn't hate that. I mean, I really wasn't a fan of Rob Liefeld, but Todd McFarlane, I wasn't reading comics when he was making his cool 90s stuff. So I was his webbing is cool and active and I like that, but I wasn't into it. And then meeting both of them a bunch of times and spending a lot of time with Todd McFarlane, he's a sweetheart and I love him now. Rob Liefeld, not a nice human. Not a nice dude.
So one of my favorite people to talk to that they will go way into detail about their art, Sienkiewicz.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. He is so literally, he is one of the greatest people. And Josh Williamson, if you can meet him at a con where he's not slammed, will talk to you about what horror he loves nonstop.
Cool. Wow.
He is such a nerd, and he will tell you where he stole from for Nailbiter. He also has another series called Ghosted, which was a heist 13 ghosts trying to steal a ghost for a rich guy that I really liked. That came out before Nailbiter. Ghosted.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
it just got made into a compendium a few months ago
with Goran Sudzuka doing the art.
Yeah, I saw that a few months ago, and I didn't realize I'd never seen it beforehand before it came out in a compendium. So now I want to read it.
I loved it, especially the first series. The second series not as much, but the first series I really liked. So I'm hoping to be doing some more videos. My comic stuff has been kind of blah for a little bit, and I want to do a ROM omnibus kind of Romnibus review.
Fuck yeah, Rom.
I will say the one thing that impressed me, they didn't touch the colors.
Hot.
They did
Now
not touch
they
the
reprinted
colors
on
at all. They kept it, even on the better paper, they kept the colors the same. And I have not seen this in Squadron Supreme, which is one of my favorite, like, under the radar books I love reading, because Watchmen came out and then Marvel put out Squadron Supreme. Squadron Supreme might be darker.
I wish they would just use like nice newspaper for those kind of reprints, especially like people are already paying like $100 for like an Omni. Like, just make it nice.
Yeah, so I don't know if they can do nice newspaper. That's the problem. But like, it's got to be better than that tissue paper they used during the 70s, because my God, like, that stuff gets so acidic. Also, there is a Instagram person I saw, Spiders Comics, who follows us, who is going through his journey of cleaning comics. I'm
Hell
fascinated
yeah!
by it, where he's using the eraser, going through all these books he's getting raw and
Like for
cleaning them.
8 years now.
I love watching it because I'm first looking at the books he's getting and the condition he's getting them in, and then watching the end result, and then he's showing all the eraser shavings that he's gone through.
I know I need to make content on it because I love watching that kind of stuff. I just never do.
But I think it's also something like there's a couple of people who did books on pressing or did videos on pressing, and it's such a fine art. I know I'd fuck up.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely easy. And like part of the process when you're learning how to do it is to just fuck up. Like that's what you should do so you know what is too far.
So for anybody wanting to learn about comic pressing and cleaning, you do a little bit, or you have done a little bit, if I recall.
I mean, I do it like multiple times a week.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know how much you did it.
8 years professionally. This
Oh.
week I'm doing a Fantastic Four 3, a Batman 4, an X-Men 1, my own X-Men 1. But I do mostly like key silver stuff, but I do some golden stuff too. I'll do modern stuff, but
What's your greatest triumph?
I got a first Vandal Savage to go from a 4/5 to a 7/5. That was pretty good. Yeah, I got a lot of pretty stuff done or whatever. I've got to work on some cool books. Got to work on a Batman 2. Got to work on a bunch of Fantastic Four 1s. Cool stuff. Gets touch all the time. Love it.
The guy I used to use, he had a lot of Neil Adams books that came to him, and he had the iconic Joker one with the cards on the cover, which he got up to a 9.6.
Hell yeah. It's a cool book.
And I do rated out as 7.
Wild. Like press and hate cleaning. Other way around. I love cleaning books, and then like the pressing isn't my jam.
So I love the mundane, I guess, and I guess actually cleaning the books is the mundane, but like I could see myself going way too far with it and probably damaging something by getting too obsessive.
Again, part of what you should do in the beginning to figure out like what is too much, but yeah, that part definitely is, especially on like the 60 to 64 like Marvel stuff, because they have a very like paper that just does not want to exist.
There's also that weird tissue paper that Marvel used during the 90s that was like shitty as fuck, like when New Warriors came out.
Yeah, I don't clean a lot of 90s books.
Well, no, I'm just saying that paper
is
some of the worst I've seen, because they were just mass producing everything. It's some of the shittiest paper I've seen used. Darkhawk #1 was another one that used.
Hell yeah, Darkhawk #1 though.
It's no Sleepwalker.
Thanks for both of them.
Very easy to damage books. Yes, it is. Yep. But thank you everybody for joining us in the chat and watching. I appreciate for the 2 hours and 18 minutes, but I didn't think we were gonna get to. We were moving pretty fast at the beginning.
I thought about it, and then I was like, nah. Now I'm like, oh, I should have done it. Fool.
But hopefully you'll see more of Tessa and I in the future. My health issues are pretty much over at this point, and con season's almost over.
Yeah, I've got Baltimore this coming weekend, and then I have New York. So if any of you hooligans are going there, and then I have 2 shows that are local for Cloud, but I only have 2 more for me.
I want to try and hit Heroes because I keep hearing that's like the best con.
It is the best con, full stop. If you like comic books, if you like comic book movies and stuff, then it is not a good show for you. But if you like comics, Heroes Con is the best show for you. It is all comics, it is all comic creators. It's amazing.
But how is it for hunting?
It's fun. It's dealers. There's definitely some good things we had, especially if you like reading. There were a lot of like super discounted graphic novels, and they were like gone by the time we left the end of the third day.
Because I know MegaCon used to be good for hunting back in the day, and not so much these days.
Yeah, it's like all right, normal con, but Heroes Con is definitely pretty sick. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care and
Go
make
give
sure
Jennifer your money.
Yep, definitely. And if you're watching this, Jen, love you. Bye.